The room was dark. Smoke filled the air. The smell of blood and sweat was everywhere. Loud alien voices shouted in excitement. They stood in a circle around a metal cage. Inside that cage was a girl. She was not human. Her skin was light blue, covered in bruises. Her white hair was dirty and tangled. Thin and small, she looked too weak to even stand. Her arms shook as she held herself up on one knee. Chains wrapped around her ankles and wrists. Her eyes big, glowing, and full of fear looked out at the crowd. No one helped her. No one cared. The alien girl had been here for days. Maybe weeks. She didn't even know anymore. She had screamed in the beginning, begged for mercy, cried until her throat hurt. But now, she didn't scream anymore, because no one ever listened. A tall creature stepped into the cage. Its skin was black and slimy. It held a glowing rod in one hand, a pain stick. The crowd cheered louder. The alien girl closed her eyes. The pain hit her back like fire. Her body jerked, but she didn't cry. She didn't shout. She just stayed quiet. It was the only power she had left, and that silence, it made the crowd go wild. Look at her, someone shouted. She doesn't even cry now. She's broken. Another laughed. Hit her again. The torturer raised the stick one more time, but someone stepped forward. From the back of the crowd, a voice spoke calmly. That's enough. Everyone turned. A tall figure walked through the smoke and noise. He was covered in a long dark coat. His face was hidden by shadows, but two human eyes looked forward without fear. His boots echoed on the metal floor as he walked toward the cage. A human? Here? In a black market alien slave pit? Unbelievable. Some aliens laughed. Others stepped away, suddenly nervous. What do you want, human? The torturer hissed. The man didn't answer. He looked at the girl in the cage. She looked back, her eyes wide and confused. Why was he here? Was he going to hurt her too? I said, what do you want? The alien repeated, louder. The human looked up. I want her, he said quietly. Silence. Then loud laughter exploded from the crowd. You want her? The torturer said. She's broken. She's useless. She doesn't even scream anymore. Another alien mocked. Take one of the strong ones instead, someone else offered. Not that piece of trash. The human ignored them. He pulled something from his coat. A small metal disc, the currency of this lawless place. It glowed with high value. He tossed it onto the floor. The torturer looked at it. His mouth opened, then closed. That was a lot of money. Are you serious? He asked, blinking. The human said nothing. He just walked to the cage, unlocked it, and stepped inside. The alien girl backed away quickly, afraid. Her body trembled as she pushed herself against the wall. He knelt in front of her. It's okay, he said softly. I'm not going to hurt you. She stared at him. Her lips moved, but no words came out. He reached into his coat again, pulled out a blanket, and wrapped it around her shoulders. Her eyes widened. No one had ever done that before. You're safe now, the human said. But they weren't. Not. Yet as they turned to leave, the torturer growled. She's not worth saving, he muttered. She's cursed. That one doesn't belong to any species. She's a mistake. The human stopped. He turned his head slightly, just enough for them to hear him. Then maybe, he said coldly. She belongs with me. And with that, he walked out carrying her in his arms. The crowd didn't cheer this time. They just watched in silence as the human disappeared into the smoke. Carrying the girl no one else wanted, she opened her eyes in panic. The light was soft. There was no crowd screaming. No burning pain on her back. No chains. The last thing she remembered was the human's arms, strong and warm, lifting her from the cold floor of the cage. Then darkness. She had blacked out. Now she was lying on something soft. A bed, not a metal floor. She sat up quickly, breathing fast. Her body hurt. Her arms shook. But nothing around her looked like a slave pit. There were no bloodstains on the walls, no glowing rods, no aliens cheering her pain. She was inside a ship. Small room, clean, quiet. She had never seen anything like it. And sitting in the corner was the human. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes watching her, calm, still, dangerous. He hadn't spoken yet. He didn't need to. His silence filled the room with a heavy weight, like something was going to happen. Like he had already decided what he'd do next. And no one could stop him. The alien girl pulled the blanket around herself tighter. Her throat was dry. Why? She finally whispered, her voice hoarse. Why did you take me? The human didn't answer right away. He studied her face, her wounds, the fear in her eyes. Then he stood and walked over, slow and careful, like approaching a wild animal. I saw what they did to you, he said. That was enough, but you paid for me. Her voice cracked. No one ever pays for something broken. He didn't argue. He didn't call her wrong. Instead, he opened a drawer near the bed and took out a small food capsule. He handed it to her. She stared at it. Food, real food. Not dirty scraps or rotting flesh. Not something tossed on the ground like garbage. She took it slowly and bit into it. And then dashed tears. Not from pain, not from fear, but from confusion. Kindness. Hurt in a different way. Who are you? She asked. The human sat back down, this time closer to her. Still calm. Still quiet. My name is Ren, he said simply. I used to be a soldier. Used to be? I quit. Why? He looked away for a moment, then looked right into her eyes. Because I was told not to help people like you. Silence again. The girl looked down at her hands. Blue skin, covered in cuts. Fingers too weak to form fists. She had no name, no family, number, species that claimed her. She was nothing. So why would someone like him care? You'll get in trouble, she said. They'll come for me. They'll kill you too. Ren smiled faintly, not a happy smile. A tired one. They already want me dead, he said. Suddenly, a red light blinked on the wall. A soft beep followed. Ren stood quickly and checked the screen. His jaw tightened. They found us, he muttered. The girl's heart dropped. They're coming? Ren nodded. But not yet. We have time. Then. Leave me, she said fast, panic rising in her chest. They're after me. If you run now, maybe they'll let you go. He turned to her with fire in his eyes. No, why? His voice was low, cold. Because I've already made that mistake once. The girl blinked. What mistake? Ren didn't answer right away. He opened another drawer and pulled out a small metal case. Inside was a photograph. He held it up briefly. It showed a child. A little alien girl with glowing eyes like hers. Smiling. She was caught too, Ren said quietly. I hesitated. I followed orders. I didn't help her. What happened to her? She died, he said. Silence again. The alien girl stared at him. Her chest felt heavy. That was why he had saved her. Not because she was valuable. Not because he wanted something, but because he couldn't watch it happen again. He sat down, pulled out a small tool, and began adjusting the controls on his blaster. They'll come again, he said. And when they do, I'll be ready. The girl looked at him. This human, quiet, serious, full of pain, was preparing to fight for her. A slave, a mistake, a no one. Do I have a name? She asked softly. Ren looked at her, surprised. She lowered her eyes. I don't remember if I ever had one. He thought for a moment, then nodded. We'll find one. But first, you stay alive. He stood, checked the ship's controls again, then looked over his shoulder at her. And stay close to me. As he walked toward the front of the ship, the girl whispered something to herself. Very soft, very quiet. Thank you. Water. It touched her skin like a ghost. Gentle, warm, clean. She had never felt clean before. The alien girl stood inside the small bathing chamber of Ren's ship. Steam rose around her. Drops slid over her blue arms, washing away the dried blood. The filth, the shame. But she didn't move. She didn't cry. She didn't know how. Even now, standing under warm water with no chains, her body shook not from cold, but from fear. Somewhere in her heart, she believed the pain would come again. That this kindness was a trick. That the human would turn like all the others. Because kindness had always been followed by cruelty. That was the rule. And rules didn't break for girls like her. Outside the door, Ren waited in silence. He had given her time, space, and clean clothes, nothing more. He didn't speak unless she wanted to. He didn't touch unless she allowed it. And that, more than anything, confused her. Why wasn't he demanding something? Why wasn't he using her? What did he want? After the shower, she stepped into the room wrapped in a soft gray cloth. Her hair, now white and silky, hung over her shoulders. Her glowing eyes scanned the space, wary but calm. Ren was sitting at a small table, drinking something warm. He looked up and nodded. "You're stronger than I thought," he said quietly. She didn't respond. She didn't sit down. Ren stood and placed a sealed ration on the table. Soft alien bread and protein. She walked toward it slowly. "Eat as much as you like," he added. "There's more." Still, she didn't touch the food right away. "You're not going to lock me up again?" she asked. "No. Not even to be safe?" "You're not my prisoner," Ren said. "You're my guest." The word guest hit her like a punch. She didn't even know what that meant. Her fingers hovered over the bread. Then she picked it up and took a slow bite. Soft, real, not moldy scraps. She wanted to cry, but the tears were stuck inside her, even. Her tears were afraid to fall. Later that night, Ren was fixing part of the ship's nav system when the girl finally spoke again. "What's out there?" she asked. Ren looked up. "Space?" She shook her head. "Out there past your ship, the ones who were hurting me." "Will they follow us?" Ren sighed. "Yes, if they know where we are." "Then why did you bring me here?" "Because they would have killed you back there." "But they'll kill you now too." He gave a faint smile. "Maybe, but I've lived long enough." She stepped closer, her hands gripping the edge of the table. "You should have left me." He stopped working. "I tried that once," he said. "I told you. Because of the other girl?" He nodded. She stared at him. "Did she look like me?" Ren's eyes softened. "Not exactly." "But she had the same fear in her eyes." The girl hesitated. "And did she trust you?" "Not in time." They both went quiet. The ship drifted through silent stars. A soft hum echoed through its frame. Suddenly, the warning system beeped. Ren stood fast and went to the controls. "What is it?" she asked. He checked the screen. "Someone's scanning us." "Is it them?" Her voice was small. Ren narrowed his eyes. "No, it's a bounty ship. They're checking for fugitives." Her blood turned cold. "They're looking for me." Ren activated the jammers. "They won't find anything. I've erased your ID from the system. But what if they board us?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached under the console and handed her something, a tiny metal disc with strange markings. "What's this?" "A keycard," he said. "If something happens to me, this opens the storage hatch under the floor. There's food, air, and a shuttle pod. You can survive. You can run." She looked up, horrified. "You're preparing to die?" "I'm preparing to protect you." She didn't sleep that night. She sat in silence, staring at the stars through the small glass window. Her hands gripped the blanket tightly. She was still afraid. But something inside her had started to change. Someone had given her safety. Without asking for anything, someone had called her a guest. Someone had handed her the tools to live, even if he didn't. And that kind of kindness? It hurt. Because for the first time in her life, she didn't want to run away. She wanted to stay. The stars outside were calm, but inside the ship, something wasn't right. She woke up suddenly, heart pounding. No sound, no movement. Just that strange feeling like something dark had entered the air. She sat up in bed, eyes wide. The light above flickered once, then again. It went out. Total darkness. The alien girl froze. Her breath caught in her throat. And that's when she heard it. A click, very soft, very distant. But not part of the ship. Not part of Ren. Something was on board. She climbed out of bed, barefoot, still holding the blanket. Her feet touched the cold metal floor. Step by step, she moved toward the hallway. Then she saw it, a red glow, small, fast, scanning, a drone. Not Ren's, not from this ship. Her whole body screamed in warning. Her instincts pulled her back, toward the shadows. She backed into her room and grabbed the metal disc Ren had given her, the escape keycard. Was this it? Was this the moment he had warned her about? A loud crash came from the front of the ship. Then a voice. Low, growling. Where is the girl? Ren was already moving. Had heard the airlock seal break. Silent entry tech. They'd bypassed the alarms. These weren't amateurs. These were hunters. He grabbed his blaster, slid a knife into his boot, and locked the hallway doors. A second later, the steel exploded inwards. 3 masked aliens entered, tall, armored, their rifles glowing green. One raised a scanner. Life form detected. Back room, she's here. Ren stepped out from the shadows. He didn't say a word. He just opened fire. The hallway turned into chaos. Sparks flew. One alien went down with a fire shot to the neck. Another fired back. The wall beside Ren exploded. He rolled, ducked behind a crate, and tossed a shock mine. It landed perfectly. Boom, another one down. The last alien charged, swinging a blade. Ren met him head-on, fist against armor. The impact knocked both of them back, but Ren was faster. He stabbed the blade from his boot into the alien's leg. The attacker screamed. Ren finished it with a blast to the chest. Silence returned, but it didn't feel like victory. The girl stepped out slowly, eyes wide, blanket still wrapped around her shoulders. She looked at the bodies. She looked at Ren, cut, bleeding, breathing hard. Are you hurt? She asked. He waved her off. Not bad. They found me, she whispered. Ren stared at her. They didn't just find you, he said. They tracked you. She looked confused. What do you mean? Ren walked to one of the bodies and ripped open its chest armor. Inside was a black device, small, blinking, almost invisible. He pulled it out and held it up. You had a tracker in your body. Her eyes widened in shock. No, I didn't. You didn't know, he said. They put it there when they tortured you. It's under your skin. That's how they knew where to look. Her hands shook. Tears began to form in her eyes. Finally, I didn't ask for any of this, she whispered. I know. I just wanted it to stop. Ren knelt in front of her, voice low. It stops now. Later, Ren carefully removed the tiny tracker from her shoulder. It took steady hands and silence. She didn't scream, she didn't even flinch, but the tears finally came. Not from pain, from relief. When it was over, Ren threw the device into a crushing chamber and watched it shatter into dust. No one follows us now, he said. But the girl didn't speak. She just stared at her hands, as if they didn't belong to her. What happens now? She asked finally. Ren stood slowly. Now, we find out why they want you so badly. Maybe I'm dangerous, she whispered. He shook his head. You're not the threat, he said. You're the key. That night, as the ship floated through deep space, she sat by the window again. This time she didn't tremble. This time, her eyes didn't dart at every sound. She watched the stars and asked herself a question no one had ever let her ask before. What am I? And somewhere deep inside her, something whispered back, something powerful, something buried. Ren had seen strange things in war, but never this. He stared at the glowing screen inside his ship's med bay. His hands didn't move. His face didn't change. But inside, his mind raced. The alien girl sat quietly behind him, legs pulled up to her chest. Her blue skin still carried scars, but her eyes were sharper now, more alert. She had trusted him enough to let him run a full scan of her body, but neither of them expected what he found. "You're not just a slave," Ren said slowly. She looked up. "Then what am I?" Ren tapped the screen, zooming into a strange strand of code, alive, moving like it had a purpose. This isn't normal DNA," he said. "This is engineered. Built on purpose." She stood up, walking to him slowly. "Engineered? Like a clone?" "No, not a clone. You're real. But something changed your body from the inside." Her voice trembled. "Why would anyone do that?" Ren turned to her, eyes serious. "To make you into a weapon." Silence fell like heavy glass between them. The girl took a step back. "No," she whispered. "That can't be true." "It's not your fault," Ren said quickly. "This wasn't your choice." She shook her head. "But I don't want to hurt anyone. You haven't." "But what if I'm dangerous?" Ren stepped closer. "You are dangerous. But not because of what they put inside you." She stared at him, confused. He smiled faintly. "You're dangerous because you survived." He showed her more of the data. Her cells healed faster than normal. Her brain lit up in ways he'd never seen. And deep inside her blood was a piece of something ancient, not alien, not human. Something lost. "I think that's why they were torturing you," Ren said. "They were trying to trigger something." "Like what?" "I don't know, but it's old and powerful, and it scared them." She looked at her hands. They shook slightly. "So I'm not a mistake?" Ren looked her dead in the eyes. "No, you're a miracle." She didn't speak for a long time, just sat there thinking. Outside the ship, the stars passed by, quiet, endless, uncaring. Inside, a girl who once believed she was worthless now had to believe she might be something more. She whispered, "If I was built for war, then why do I only feel pain?" Ren sat down beside her. "Because you're not a weapon," he said. "You're still human, maybe not by blood, but by heart." Later, Ren began pulling data from old war archives. He connected to BlackNet servers and rebel files from across the galaxy. Hours passed. He found a name, Project OMEI. Top secret. Shut down. Lost after a lab explosion 20 years ago. Inside that lab, children. Half grown. Not just test subjects, living weapons. Only one escaped. One girl. No name, just a Cody name. Prototype 9. He turned to the girl, sitting cross-legged on the floor. "Do you remember anything about a lab?" he asked. She blinked. "Flashes, bright lights, cold floors. I was small. I think I remember being alone." Ren nodded slowly. "You were the last one." And then the next message arrived. A bounty update. The highest level. Kill on site. Her picture. Her face, her glowing eyes. The reward? Enough to buy a planet. "Someone really wants you gone," Ren said. "Then why don't you take the money?" she asked. He looked at her. Long and hard. Then he said something that stopped her breath. "Because if the galaxy wants you dead, then I want you alive." He stood up and began packing weapons. She stood too. "Where are we going?" "To find out who made you," he said. "And why?" She looked nervous. "And if I'm truly dangerous?" He loaded the last of the gear into the ship's locker. "Then you won't face it alone." She looked down, then whispered something very soft. "Can I have a name?" Ren paused. Smiled. Double quotes. "You already do. But you get to choose it." She thought for a moment, then whispered, "Nova." He nodded. "Then let's show the galaxy who Nova really is." The man once called Ren had broken many rules, but this time, he was breaking the universe. He stood alone on the top deck of his ship, looking out at a dying star. His jaw was tight. His coat flapped in the ship's cold air. Vents. In one hand, he held a shattered ID chip, the last link to his former life as a soldier. In the other hand, a photo, the girl from the lab. Not Nova, the one before her. The one he couldn't save. He let the wind take the photo. This time, he wouldn't fail. This time they would be afraid, because Ren was no longer hiding. He was going to war. Inside the ship, Nova sat on the floor with wires wrapped around her fingers. She was learning faster than Ren expected. She had built a small scanning drone. Using broken tech from their attackers, she made it float. She made it search. And for the first time in her life, she felt useful. When Ren came back in, she looked up. "Did you contact them?" she asked. He nodded. "Old allies, mercs, some rebels, smugglers, people who don't ask questions, but know how to make noise. Will they help us?" "They will help me," he said. "Because they owe me." Nova paused. "And if they don't come?" Ren looked her straight in the eyes. "Then we die loud." They set course for an old moon called Dravik-3. No laws. No mercy. Only the forgotten criminals, ex-soldiers, ghosts, and Ren's old crew. As the ship entered the system, Ren explained. "Everything. Project Oh My. Prototype 9. The child weapons. The cover. Up. And how Nova was the only one left. They want you erased," he said, "because if the truth comes out, entire empires will fall." Nova touched the small scar where the tracker had once been. "Then let them fall." Ren smiled. "You're starting to sound like me." When they landed, the air was thick with smoke. Old ships were parked like dead beasts, their hulls covered in rust and scars. Nova followed Ren through the junkyard city. Eyes watched them from every broken tower. Gun barrels moved behind windows. This place didn't trust anyone, but when Ren walked in, the shadows moved aside. He was known here. Respected. Feared. A woman with cybernetic arms stepped out. "Ren," she said, "you look terrible. And you still smell like fuel," he replied. They hugged like old soldiers too tired to pretend they weren't broken. "This the girl?" she asked. Nova stood tall, trying not to look small. The woman nodded. "She's got the look, smart eyes, built different." "She's not a weapon," Ren said. "She's the reason I'm still fighting." The woman whistled. "Then let's load up, because they're coming." The crew came together fast. X-snipers. Ship hackers. A rebel pilot with one eye and no regrets. Everyone remembered what Ren had done in the past, and everyone knew. If he was angry, someone was going to bleed. Nova trained beside them. Shooting, hacking, dodging. But she also asked questions. "Why are you doing this?" she asked Ren one night. He looked up from cleaning his rifle. "Because the galaxy forgot what justice looks like." "And me?" He paused. "You remind me why it matters." The enemy didn't wait long. Scouts found the hideout. A transmission echoed through the system. "Turn over the prototype and we'll let the rest of you live." Ren grabbed the cum and answered in a voice made of fire. "Come and take her." Nova stood behind him. No longer afraid. No longer crying. She whispered, "Thank you." Ren didn't turn. He just said, "This is your war now too." She nodded. And smiled. That night, ships filled the sky. Dark, fast, unstoppable, the kind that destroys cities in minutes. Ren looked up at them. He didn't blink. They brought a fleet. The rebel pilot said. "Good," Ren replied. "Then we won't miss." The crew took their positions. Nova stood at the heart of it all. Her hands steady. Her voice calm. She was no longer a runaway slave. She was something new. Something dangerous, something alive. And beside her, a human who had nothing left to lose, except the girl he now called family. She once had no name, no past, no home, just pain and silence. But now she stood at the edge of war, her feet planted on metal ground, her new name Nova burning like fire in her heart. Above her, black ships covered the sky. Their shadows swallowed the light. The air was thick with smoke and tension. Missiles glowed in the clouds. Blades of energy hummed. Inside her chest, something pulsed. Not fear, power. Beside her stood Ren, silent, steady, deadly. His coat moved in the wind. In his hand was a pulse rifle. On his back, scars from old battles. And in his heart, a promise. This time, I protect the one I couldn't save. The enemy landed fast. Black-armored soldiers rushed in like a flood. Guns ready. Orders clear. Target is the girl. Do not let her leave the surface alive. Nova watched them come. Her breath slowed. Her fingers curled, but she didn't run. Because Ren had taught her something no lab, no cage, no scientist ever did. She mattered. The first blast shook the ground. Ren shouted, "Positions!" The crew responded, snipers on the rooftops, drones in the sky, mines underfoot. Nova stood at the heart, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. The tech inside her was no longer a mystery. She understood it now. Her mind could feel the signals in the enemy suits. She could hear their codes, their weakness. She raised one hand, and fire answered. A pulse burst from her fingers, raw energy, bright as a sun. The front line of soldiers screamed and dropped, their armor shut down, their weapons jammed. She just disabled them all. Someone yelled from the crew. Ren smirked. Told you she was special. But the enemy didn't stop. They sent in walkers, giant machines with thick armor. Nova's power couldn't crack them alone. Ren ran forward, planted charges under the legs, and rolled out just before the explosion sent metal flying. Nova reached out to him. Are you okay? He stood up, covered in dust. I'm old, not dead. More soldiers poured in, this time. Ren and Nova fought side by side. He shot with brutal aim. She disabled systems with a glance, a rhythm. A team. No longer protector and rescued. Now partners. But then, Ren was hit. A sniper found him. The shot slammed into his side. He fell hard. Nova screamed, rushing to his side, power crackling in her hands. He looked up, coughing. You know what to do. He whispered. Double quotes. No, I'm not leaving you, she said. Tears falling for the first time freely. You were meant for more than cages, he said. You were meant to lead. But I can't. Yes, you can, he whispered. Because now, you believe you're real. His hand found hers. We're no one, but now you're Nova. The battle raged, but Nova didn't run. She rose. She took Ren's rifle. She stepped forward, and the galaxy saw her, not as a test subject, not as a slave, not as a target, but as a storm. Her eyes flared. Her voice rang out. I'm done hiding. She unleashed everything. Systems shut down. Ships dropped. Armor cracked. The enemy fled. They weren't prepared for her. They thought they were chasing a mistake, but they had awakened a legend. When the dust cleared, Ren was alive barely. Medics worked fast. Nova sat beside him in the ship, holding his hand. You gave me more than a name, she whispered. You gave me hope. He smiled weakly. Then don't waste it. Weeks later, the bounty was gone. The truth about Project Ome had been leaked. Galaxies talked about a girl with glowing eyes who fought back. Nova, leader. Survivor. Human by choice. And Ren? He recovered. Older, slower, but still dangerous. He stayed by her side, not as a soldier, not as a savior, but as something simpler. Family.